Apparently, these are the top 5 careers of millionaires. Number 1, engineers. Number 2, accountants. Number 3, teachers. Wild. Number 4, management, and number 5, attorneys. Now there is something in common between all of these careers. Let me know your guess in the comments. We're gonna talk about that, but first let's talk about number 3, teachers. I'm not talking about college professors. I'm not even talking about private school educators. I'm talking about your good old trusty K through 12 teachers.
I've got my eye on you, Jay Quellen.
Mrs. Miller from the 3rd grade, if you're watching this, congrats. So where the heck did this top 5 list even come from? Is this just a bunch of baloney? Well, back in 2017, Ramsey Solutions did the national study of millionaires where they reached out to 10,000 plus millionaires. And they used thorough research tactics in order to figure out what are the financial habits, behaviors, and even demographics of these 10,000 millionaires in America. That's a pretty statistically significant group of people to tell us what kind of things go into becoming a millionaire. And what's even more shocking is that the median income of a teacher in America right now is $63,000 a year. So we're gonna break some limiting beliefs as to how income is not exactly correlated to your net worth. And what I found shocking is that 1/3 of these millionaires have never earned a salary over $100,000. Ever. So with the median salary of a teacher being $63,000 a year, how in the world are they becoming millionaires? Well, in this video, we're gonna break some limiting beliefs and we're gonna walk through principles that teachers follow that have allowed them to achieve such financial freedom. And of course, it's not the fact that they are a teacher that has led to them being a millionaire, but there are things they have done as teachers that have allowed them to achieve this level of wealth. And of course, if you've been watching this channel, you know the goal isn't to just be a millionaire. Like, money is just money, but ultimately, we want to use whatever salary we have now to bring us towards the life we really want, following proven systems day in and day out. When you think of the workload of a teacher, a lot of their time is spent planning. Planning during the summer break, planning every month, planning every lesson. They know exactly what they need to cover in what time as a teacher. And later in the video, we're gonna get real testimonies from real millionaire teachers. But for now, we know that teachers follow a curriculum and they are used to functioning within a very specific and structured methodology. This has been a methodology that's been used for years and decades to educate America's youth. We can argue in the comments if you think the methodology actually works, but this is something that's been proven to help students build knowledge a little bit at a time. So what in tarnation does that have to do with wealth building? Well, it's obvious that your income is not the biggest factor to you reaching your financial goals. One of my favorite books of all time, Atomic Habits by James Clear, it says that we do not rise to the level of our goals, but we fall to the level of our systems. And if you were wondering what all the top 5 careers of millionaires had in common, it's the fact that they follow a very structured system. Engineers stick to certain equations and certain laws. Accountants stick to certain accounting rules like GAAP. You know, I'm surprised I remember that from business school. Teachers follow their proven system and their proven curriculum. Managers follow, well, okay, let's skip that one. And lawyers follow a very structured set of legal rules and the legal system. If they don't stick to their systems, then they're gonna lose their jobs, their licenses, and probably end up like Saul Goodman on Breaking Bad.
Better known as Jimmy In and Out. For a price, Jimmy will go to prison for you.
Now, instead of speculating, let's read some real words from a real teacher. I'm a longtime teacher. I think the bottom line is that people who have a plan, take action according to the plan, and have the long-term discipline to stick with the plan are the ones that make it to millionaire status. So people who have jobs that require them to create and follow a plan day in and day out have the highest probability to succeed on the millionaire path, including teachers. Now, I know a lot of careers require you to create a plan, but for teachers specifically, I think they're held accountable at a higher level to actually stay disciplined with their curriculum. There are parent-teacher conferences, there are literally children on the line and their futures on the line. So teachers better stick to their curriculum or else they're gonna be off track. There's not much room to really bend the plans. Of course, a teacher can decorate their room differently or communicate in their own style, but they ultimately rely on the proven systems in place, which might transfer over to money management skills. It also takes a lot of discipline to avoid lifestyle creep when your income goes up over time. So I definitely want to walk you through the system my wife and I use to reach our future financial goals, including, passing millionaire status. But first, let's uncover why teachers are mission driven and why that can contribute to financial success. Unfortunately, it's common knowledge that public school teachers do not get paid very well. So if you're deciding to become a teacher, you're obviously not driven by money, but you're driven by something else. I give them a ton of respect for feeling called to this mission of educating the youth and the next generation over trying to earn a fat paycheck. Or they have another mission, and after talking to a few teacher friends, they also do this for the lifestyle. They get a long old summer break, they get off work when their kids are off school, and there's just a pretty healthy life and work balance. But before I get into why this is important for wealth building, let me know in the comments, what is your career and what drove you to that profession? Initially, before I really went full nerd on this finance stuff, I was going to be a doctor, and probably the only thing driving me there was the fact that they earned a high salary. But just as we mentioned, doctors are not in the top 5 list of millionaire careers. In fact, if you're in healthcare, you probably know a lot of doctors that have a huge spending problem. Not generalizing, but let's see what lessons we can pull from a teacher's mission. Obviously, if you're watching this video, money isn't everything. Money is merely a tool to create the life that you want. And of course, if you don't want to think about money or stress about money, you should probably have a lot of money, or at least some plan to sustain the lifestyle that you really want. So if that is your mission and you want to create time freedom, or you want to just spend more quality time with the people you love, having that mission is going to drive you when your financial motivation and discipline falters. Being frugal and being financially disciplined doesn't mean that you're just going to give up everything, but it's being able to say no to things that don't matter to you so you can say yes to the things that really do. And that's why if we are driven by our mission as opposed to just trying to look for short-term motivation, we'll be more likely to follow through on our financial game plan. Of course, I'll be sharing my financial game plan, but let's talk about the third principle we can learn from teachers. Teachers find ways to accelerate growth. Let's hear from another teacher on Reddit. There are so many savings vehicles available to teachers. I have access to a pension, a 403b, and a 457b through school, and of course, IRAs on my own. And just so you know, IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. This is just another investing account that she opened on the side by herself. Values also play a role. Conspicuous displays of wealth are not seen as badges of success as they might be in some business settings. In addition, many people who choose to be teachers did so with the full knowledge that they can make more money elsewhere. They chose academia because they value lifestyle or influencing the next generation more than they value a big salary. All right, if you're a teacher, let me know in the comments, do you have access to these same investing accounts and benefits too? And I love the point about not having to look very luxurious while being a teacher. Heck, most of my teachers were like characters to me in my life. I rarely saw them outside of school, and when you think about it, you don't need to dress to impress as a teacher, really. There are also other sources of income. For example, many K-12 teachers work in the summer or even have side gigs during the school year. Many college teachers make extra money by teaching summer school. Book royalties, consulting, or honoraria may also provide a little more income for some. That's money that can be saved and invested as well. You know, I never thought about it, but most of my social studies teachers ended up being coaches, like for track, cross country, tennis. Social studies teachers, do they just have more time? But I think generating more income or finding an extra source of income is perfect, but only if you have a system in place first. If your process for handling money is already dialed in, then extra income will be automatically dispersed to where it needs to go to help you reach your goals faster. But if there is zero system in place and you start earning extra income, well, most likely it's gonna get lost to impulse decisions and bad financial behaviors. We're human, we know it happens. Like for me, I enjoy working out. I think bodybuilding's pretty cool, but you can't force feed your muscle growth just by eating more food. You have to have some system in place of working out or doing some routine for exercise. You're not just going to grow muscle by having more income or more food coming in. And for those who are interested in gardening, who I know we have on this channel, it won't help to pour a bunch of water on a plant if there are no roots there to absorb that water. So that's why it's helpful to have a financial system in place before pouring extra income into your life. Now, we did just cover 3 life principles that could contribute to teachers building wealth and becoming a millionaire. So now I want to share what those principles look like in my life. When it comes to following a proven system, my wife and I follow our system of budgeting. And boy, if you don't know where to start on your financial journey, budgeting is the best place. And I just want to clarify, a budget means a clear, written budget. It's not budgeting in your head. It's not thinking, I won't spend over this amount of money when I go to the mall. This is literally you writing out your income each month and then delegating where that income is going to go throughout the month. You can break out a notepad, you can break out a spreadsheet, or you can break out some kind of budgeting app or software. I prefer Monarch or EveryDollar, and let me know in the comments what budgeting tactics you use. So every dollar we make in our household income is gonna flow through this budget, and every dollar that comes in is gonna be given a name, it's gonna be given a job, and more specifically, one of the first jobs of this income is to pay us. So within this proven system, we've automated savings. Every time we get paid, a large portion of it goes towards our savings goals, like our emergency fund, our down payments, and even to our future selves through investing. Just taking 10 minutes to log into my high yield savings account or to log into my Fidelity investing account to set up an automatic transfer allows us to follow through with our system every month without lifting a finger. And after 5 to 6 years of us dialing in this system, it now only takes 10 minutes for us to do our monthly budget meeting in order to make sure that we're making progress towards our financial goals. And to follow the example of teachers, we also have a mission for ourselves. Being in our first 2 years of marriage, of course we want to have a family, of course we want to buy a house, so we have a lot of things we're working towards at the moment. And ultimately creating time flexibility for ourselves where one of us can always stay home with the kiddos, and for us to have a nice place for us to stretch out and enjoy and to call a home is something that we're always working towards, and will keep us in line if we do feel tempted to make some more impulse splurges. And finally, following the third principle of teachers, we are doing things to accelerate our growth now that we have a system in place. I'm obviously growing this YouTube channel while I'm still working for a company, and my wife is also working on her education so that we can continue to build our incomes by investing into ourselves and in our skills today. And I already know compound interest is going to help us accelerate this growth further on. So if you're interested in what our current investing plan is, click on this video. I walk you through some of the exact investments we choose in our Roth IRA, and it gets pretty intrusive. So give it a click and I'll see you guys over there. Peace.